it's about time that you get approved for any loan or any line of credit that you apply for, right? It's really important. So in today's conversation, I want to start this progress by talking to you about the top 5 personal lines of credit for fair or bad credit, and if you're making at least $18,000 in annual salary. Of course, we are talking about gross salary, okay? Why don't you go anywhere? Stay here, stick till the end of the conversation, and you will love it.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million. You know they're coming up to me, cause I'm just the kind of flower that's stinging from the beat, but the rhythm's getting higher. Go, 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 go. 'Cause one in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Soda Kill Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about the top 5 personal lines of credit for fair or bad credit and $18,000 in annual salary. Of course, we are speaking about gross salary, okay? Number 5 here, we have a Fifth Third. Our score, 8.1 over 10. What we love about Fifth Third is that they are constantly innovating, okay? Here is a bank that, of course, is not a national bank. However, if you live in the geography that Fifth Third covers, you are very lucky. So, of course, you want to establish a relationship with Fifth Third to qualify for this line of credit. Of course, we are talking about an unsecured line of credit, okay? With this, you can access funds when you need it with no collateral required. This is unsecured, okay? And you have line amounts from $5,000 to $100,000. I mean, Fifth Third is really generous. We love that, okay? Up to 10% of verified liquid assets. In other words, they want to make sure that you have cash or any kind of thing, anything that is monetizable. It can be stocks also, okay? You have a 5-year draw period followed by a 10-year repayment period. So this is kind of important so that you can actually budget consequently, okay? And the APR ranges from 7% to 8.50%. This is kind of decent, okay? They do have an annual fee here. This is $65, which is waived the first year. It's really important for your own calculation. And funds are available via online transfer, checks, phone, or in branch, okay? So we love the flexibility that Fifth Third has here. Now you can apply online, or you can schedule an appointment, or you can even call. You can call 1-866-671-5353. 1-866-671-5353. So this is for the unsecured line of credit. Fifth Third also has a secured line of credit, okay? So you can actually collateralize the line of credit with your Fifth Third savings account, CD, or investment accounts, okay? So you have access to an ongoing access to this line of credit while your assets continue to grow. This is kind of cool because you don't have to actually close your underlying asset to get this line of credit. It is collateralized. Okay, here you have line amounts that go from $5,000 to $500,000. This is kind of cool, and this is between 50% of 100% of your collateral. In other words, if you pledge collateral of $100,000, Fifth Third will give you a line of credit that goes from $50,000 to $100,000, depending on the quality of your underlying assets. Okay, you have a 20-year draw period with balance due at maturity, interest only, monthly payments. The APR here ranges from 4.75% to 7.50%. Fantastic. Number 4, we have here TD Bank. Our score, 8.5 over 10. What we love with TD Bank is that you have access to a personal unsecured line of credit. Okay, here again, this bank is regional, so depending on the states where you live in, you can have access to this line of credit or not. So you want to check them, you want to ask them first to confirm the availability of this line of credit. You can call 1-800-937-5020. 1-800-937-5020 to ask about this, okay? And what we love with Fifth Third is that you can use the line of credit for a lot of things. They do not really restrict you. This is kind of cool. We love that. So you have home improvements, large purchases, unexpected expenses, and whatnot. Whatever happens, you can actually take the cash to take care of it. Okay, and lines go from $20,000 to $50,000. Okay, this is really good, and you can access your line of credit for 10 years. Think about that. For 10 years, you have access to this line of credit, and you can do whatever you want with it. And you can receive a discounted loan rate with an open personal TD Bank account. And it's really important, okay, for all the banks that we're going to talk to you today about, you want to establish a relationship with them. This is just logical, okay? Here, again, the personal unsecured line of credit, you are talking about $20,000 to $50,000, okay? The APR as low as 9%. Okay, monthly payment as low as $500. So this is something you gotta think about in terms of your budget. Okay, $500, that's the minimum. And one thing I want to say here is that this is great. This line of credit is great if you want the flexibility to borrow different amounts at different times. You don't mind if your monthly payment amount varies, and you don't want to use your home or other assets to take out a loan. So this is what I was talking to you about this collateral. Now we know that TD Bank covers about 10 to 15 banks in the 50 states rather. TD Bank covers 10 to 15 states in the Northeast. Okay, so it's kind of important to first check the geography that you're in to see if you qualify. But once you qualify, this is kind of good. And of course, you got to have the relationship with TD Bank also. But this is kind of cool because of the flexibility. And one thing we love is that TD Bank can actually increase your line of credit as your relationship with them grows. So they can start you at 25 or 50 or 45 or 50 grand. But if your relationship grows with them, they wouldn't mind actually scaling your line of credit to, let's say, 75,000 or 30,000. Everything is possible. Number 3, folks, we have here Truist Bank. Our score 8.8 over 10. This is another stellar bank. Okay, they are also regional. One thing you're gonna realize into this conversation is that we don't have any big national bank. We don't have no biggie. You know, we have no biggie here. We don't have a Chase, Bank of America. We don't have a Wells Fargo, or we don't have a Citibank. But this is kind of cool. That's fine. But Truist is good. Truist is actually the culmination of the merger of BB&T and SunTrust. Okay, so this is a solid bank also. So they have a personal line of credit. Okay, so if you want to have more information, you can call them at 1-844-487-8478. The number is 1-844-487-8478. The cool thing is the minimum here is $5,000 and the maximum is just open. We've heard people getting approved for 100,000 in line of credit. So everything is possible. Okay, you don't pay anything to apply. Okay, they don't charge you for application for cash advance or annual fees. Not a problem. And the thing here is that now you got to have a relationship with Truist Bank. If you want the highest rate, the lowest APR rather, you better have excellent credit. But they'll work with you even if you have bad credit. Not a problem. It depends on the strength of your relationship with Truist. Okay, and what we love here with Truist is that you can expect fast decisions and same-day funding. Okay, you have access to cash with Truist online banking and mobile app, and the APR goes from actually 7.5% to something around 12.5%. Okay, and so this is great if you want to get revolving access to cash. You want to add extra purchasing power. You want to be ready for unexplained expenses. It's all about being flexible with line of credit, right? Whether you get it from Truist or from another place, it's also important to just have access to a line of credit to cash that you can tap into to take care of business. I mean, when things happen, okay? So whatever your borrowing needs, you'll cover. You don't have to actually apply multiple times and risk dinging your credit. Okay, that's the cool thing about line of credit in general. You have access to the cash. You know, you don't have to risk again over and over having inquiries on your account, hard inquiries on your credit report whenever you need to borrow. You just do it once. So this is kind of cool. Number 2, we have U.S. Bank. Our score 9.2 over 10. This is a great bank, great line of credit. Great. You know, so their personal line of credit gives you access to ongoing funds for your goals, okay? And basically, they say that U.S. Bank customers with A FICO score of 680 or above could receive funds within hours. But if your FICO score is below 680, you can still qualify. The only thing is you not receive funds within hours. You will probably get them between 2 to 3 days or 7 days. The thing is you got to have a relationship. I insist that you need to have a relationship with U.S. Bank. And I'm not talking about a 3-year relationship. I'm talking if you have bad credit. I'm talking about having a 5-year or 10-year relationship. You want to be with them for a long time. Okay, you can actually the maximum line of credit amount here is $25,000. That's the maximum. Okay, so you can borrow anywhere from $1,000 to $25,000. The APR is kind of high though, but the quality of the decision-making process is wonderful. So the APR is as low as 11.74%. This is kind of high, but we love U.S. Bank because they get you the funds fast. They have excellent customer service, and they have someone to walk you through the whole application process. Their application process is quick, really quick. I mean, applying for a personal line of credit only takes a few minutes with their easy and secure online application process. But I would not recommend that you actually go through the online process if you have less than stellar credit. If you don't have a perfect credit, you want to go to a branch. Okay, I want you to go to a branch and have conversation with someone. It's really cool because they'll tell you that if you want to apply for a personal line of credit, just do it online if you have a U.S. Bank checking account. But you don't want to do that because they want you to start the application in the mobile app through online banking or by calling. But we prefer that you visit. The second most recommended channel, or let's say a way of doing this, is just to call. But you really want to have a live conversation first. Okay, you'll need your social security number and the home address and employment information. Okay, and once you submit your application, they will gather your credit information, and it takes about a day to get back to you. If you do it online, it takes about a minute. But again, if you do it online, that's because you have perfect credit. Okay, and if your line of credit is approved, funds are available within 1 business day of closing. Okay, this is really good. Okay, so you may close your line of credit online through, though some customers may need to visit a U.S. Bank branch. So it's really good. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Finest, yo, young mystic killer, and call me señorita. I that got me dreaming, my legs up on the ceiling. Oh yeah. I know when he come, he ain't never gonna leave. No. Hit it the night run, and that's the way I wanna be. So don't think I'm the one to won't ever be enough.
Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwa Show. We are still having a conversation today about the top 5 personal lines of credit for fair or bad credit and $18,000 at least in annual salary. Of course, we are speaking about gross salary. Okay, so our number 1 is PNC. Our score 9.5 over 10. I mean, for this product, PNC is really kicking some ass. They're really kicking ass, really doing great. Okay, and their line of credit, it's unsecured. It goes from $1,000 to $25,000. If you are in California, the maximum line amount is $5,000. Okay, this is just because of state banking regulations. But the cool thing is that this line of credit is customizable. In other words, you decide when and how much to borrow up to your approved credit limits. Okay, and no collateral is necessary and no penalty for prepayment. So we love PNC's line of credit a lot because of that flexibility, of the fact that they actually approve you real fast. Okay, obviously, as I said before, for all the other banks, you need to have a relationship. Okay, and I'm not talking about just a short-term relationship. You must have been around for a long time, unless you have perfect credit and you just started doing business with them. Okay, and whenever I talk about relationship, I'm not just talking about checking accounts, personal checking accounts, or savings accounts. I'm talking about personal checking accounts, savings accounts, and or business checking accounts and or savings accounts. Okay, so the flexibility is there. So you can actually apply in person at a branch. You can apply by phone. Okay, you can call 1-877-CALL-PNC, 1-877-CALL-PNC, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and one thing we also love here is that the APR here goes from 3.5% to all the way to 10 or 12%, depending on your credit worthiness. Okay, and they also have a special service for. They have a special offer for service members. Okay, we love them. So they have their Service Members Civil Relief Act. And the cool thing is that they provide actually financial relief and protection to eligible service members and their dependents. Okay, so if you want to find out more about that particular service at PNC Bank, call 1-844 PNC at CRA. 1-844 PNC at CRA. 844-762-7272. Fantastic. Okay, I mean, God bless you. All the service members, we love you. We thank you for your service. And yeah, if you find yourself in the problem and you happen to be a PNC customer, please give them a call. Before we close to this conversation, I really want to talk to you about, I want to have a quick overview about a line of credit, okay? Especially if you have fair or bad credit and you are making at least $18,000. What are the options there for you, okay? Now, first of all, what is a personal line of credit? That's first, because some of y'all are just sitting there, you have no clear idea of what we're talking about. Well, a personal line of credit is a type of financing, okay, that allows you to withdraw funds as needed up to a predetermined limit. And the thing you need to understand is that there are a few important factors you should keep in mind. So interest rates are variable. You only pay interest on the money you use. No collateral is required if we're talking about an unsecured line of credit. Okay, fees vary between institutions, and those with low or no credit may not qualify unless they have a strong relationship. And securing financing may be an option. In other words, you may actually use you can pledge collateral to secure the line of credit. And the thing is that personal lines of credit interest rates are variable, which means they are subject to change at any time. I mean, this isn't like, a loan where you just get approved for 8% for the loan, and that 8% is static. For the 5 years, the loan is available to you. No, with the line of credit, the APR changes all the time. This is kind of similar to a credit card. Okay, just think of it as a credit card. Okay, now the only thing is the lender must give you notice before they actually bump up your interest rate, though. Okay, they don't want to sort of surprise you or whatever. So there you have a lot of ways to use a personal line of credit. You can use it for home renovation or repair, emergency funding, ongoing medical costs, moving and relocation expenses, wedding deposits, business startups cost, funeral expenses. Okay, things happen, life goes on. That's what it is. And if you want to get a personal line of credit, you really want to make sure that you're applying a certain formula, a certain code, so that you can increase your chances of getting the line of credit that you need and deserve. Okay, and so one thing I want to talk to you about is you want to check your credit score. First, check your credit score to ascertain the score you're at. Do you have a 500? Are you at 600? Are you at 700? Have a clear idea of where you at. Okay, determine the amount you need. Okay, you got to do a little bit of digging here in terms of your budget, in terms of your own calculation, your household expenses and whatnot. Sort of figure out, you want to have a clear idea of the amount that you need. Research banks and lenders that work for you. Not every bank will work for you. Okay, and apply for a personal line of credit at the institution with which you have the strongest relationship. Boss, I'm talking to you about the relationship. Very important. And last but not the least, you want to receive the funds you need. Okay, so with a personal line of credit, you have access to the money you need fast. Okay, and you may be given checks or a card to access your line of credit. Let me give you a few pro tips before I close to this conversation. One thing you need to understand is that if you have bad credit, you can certainly have access to a line of credit. You can apply for it. It is possible, but it may be difficult. Okay. One thing I want to say here is you want to start with the institution with which you have the strongest relationship. I just said that, and I'm going to say it again and again and again and again. Okay, the thing is, if you have bad credit or fair credit for that matter, you want to park your cash somewhere. And I'm not asking you to park thousands of dollars at a bank and ask them to lend you money on a line of credit. No, but you gotta have some money. You gotta have some money. If you want to have, let's say you want to apply for $50,000 in line of credit, you need to have at least $5,000 or $3,000 in cash with them. And you gotta have a long relationship. We're speaking about a long, problem-free relationship. In other words, you should have a blemish-free. You should have a clean financial history with them in terms of your banking. Not trying to play games with by bouncing checks and whatnot. No, you don't want to do that. Okay. And one thing I want to say is that there are also alternatives to a personal line of credit, because if you don't get approved, because nothing is guaranteed. You can try everything, and they can say, well, at this moment, sir or ma'am, we cannot approve you. Okay. Well, there are alternatives. You can go for a personal loan, for example. You can try to apply for credit cards. It's important also, okay? And so when we talk about personal line of credit versus credit cards, you have to understand that when compared to credit cards, personal line of credit typically have lower interest rates and higher credit limits. Okay, a personal line of credit is really a great option if you have an ongoing project that needs funding, such as kitchen renovation, as long as you don't need to withdraw money on a consistent basis. Okay, this is kind of cool. And when we talk about personal line of credit, you also have a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. That's also very possible. So you have possibilities there. Okay, but what I want to say here is that the most important thing to remember is you choose a line of credit or a loan or a HELOC based on your situation. Obviously, you can have a HELOC if you have no house. You need to have a real property to apply for a HELOC, and of course you need to have equity in that home, in that property of yours. Okay, but this start with your budget. It starts with your financial situation, your budget, and your household expenses. Okay, and what kind of funds do you need, and for how long? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And before I close to this conversation, please check out this loan evaluation approach video. We have a strong, methodical way of doing things on this show, of categorizing loans, of reviewing lines of credit, and listing them. Check this out. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Here's a recap. Number one, we have we were talking to you about the top 5 personal lines of credit for fair or bad credit, and $18,000 at least in annual gross salary. So number one, we have PNC 9.5 over 10. Number 2, we have US Bank 9.2 over 10. Number 3, we have Truist Bank 8.8 over 10. Number 4, we have TD Bank 8.5 over 10. Number 5, we have Fifth Third Bank 8.1 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.